your first dive in your teens, and then I'd love to take us through the journey of like getting into the pool. What got you into diving in the first place? I mean, obviously, three-time world
Mhm.
champion is the end. I'm sure we'll get there, but why don't you take us back a little bit? I'd love to hear like how that story and journey started.
Yeah, it did not start in the pool. So I actually, like many kids, watched the Olympics when I was little. It was back in Mary Lou Retton's day. Saw her do that perfect 10 vault and stand on top of the Olympic podium. And I was like, I want to do that. So I got into gymnastics, absolutely loved gymnastics, but my passion was far greater than my talent. We'll just put it that way. And so at about 13, I kind of realized I was not going to be Mary Lou Retton. And the idea of at that time kind of staying at the same level to go to college just sounded really boring to me. So I still had that Olympic dream and that fire. And I was like, well, if it's not going to be in gymnastics, there's got to be a sport that I could excel in. So I kept my Olympic dream. I just kept trying to find a different avenue to make it happen. And it took me a couple years. I tried like track and tennis, softball, a whole bunch of different things. I didn't find diving until the very end of my freshman year of high school. Ran into some ex-gymnast friends that had started it. So I went to the pool with them and I fell in love the minute I stepped onto the pool deck. It was outside, nestled in the woods. The radio was blasting and they were having fun. And it was like gymnastics into the water. So I was like, all right, I feel like I am made for this sport. And it was, I just pretty much just fell right into it. And I was like, this is it. I'm going to the Olympics in this sport.
Wow. I mean, and just to say, okay, I have Olympic aspirations, right? I think everyone when they're young has aspirations to become a world-class athlete at something, right? For me, it was basketball. Unfortunately, I'm 6 foot and I'm white and, didn't have many chances there. So, but it's like, we all have aspirations, but for you, especially, to discover it, your freshman year of high school, I'm guessing you're 15, you're 14, something in that range. But then just to say, okay, I just discovered this, but I'm so committed and I'm so driven that I'm going to actually follow through. That's a different level, Laura. So, talk to me. What's the difference between someone who has aspirations, right, to be great at something, and then someone who achieves it? And what is the Olympic mindset? And not only that, what's an Olympic gold mindset? So talk to us about that. I'd love to hear it.
These are good questions. So toward the end of my gymnastics, I think I felt a little bit foolish having such big dreams because I wasn't that great of a gymnast. I mean, I was okay, I was like level 9. That's decent, but it wasn't great. So I felt kind of silly having those big dreams, but I think that's kind of what pushed me to try something else. But I kept it very close to the vest after gymnastics. I mean, I think I told all my gymnastics friends, like we all had those dreams, so it wasn't a big deal, but as I realized I wasn't there and I'm trying these other things, it was very much an internal, like, this is what I want to do, but I'm not telling people about it because I felt stupid. I was getting older. I'm a teenager, and I realized the gravity of what you say. You will be made fun of. You will be put down. And, so when I first started diving, that wasn't something I wanted to tell people, but my coach, Kenny, he, he just had a way of like pulling stuff out of you. And I felt really embarrassed when he asked me what my goals in the sport were. I mean, because I was almost a sophomore in high school already. And so he likes to have meetings because if you want to go to college, he's got to help, connect you to college coaches and things like that. So he was asking me my sophomore year, like what my goals were. And I was really embarrassed to tell him that it was winning the Olympics. But I was like, what? I think I have to tell him because he wants to know what my real goals are, and so I told him, and I'm like waiting for the backlash. I'm waiting for the laughing. I'm waiting for the, just like, let's think about something else, but he just sat there for a minute and he kind of looked thoughtful and he said, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, this is what we need to do, and he starts like listing off these things. And I remember just kind of being a little bit shocked that like, he's not laughing. He's not telling me this is crazy. Like he's actually telling me how to do it. Like, okay, that there's a way to do it. And so I think that one person not thinking you're crazy and allowing you to actually say, okay, I'm going to try and follow through with this crazy dream was really empowering because leading up to that, like I was on the dance team my freshman year of high school, just kind of something to do in the meantime. I like to dance and stuff. And I was going to quit to start diving. And she told me I was too old to start a new sport. to which I laughed because I had only started that sport the year before, and then I was on the high school diving team, not just our club team, but our high school team. And I was kicked off for being a waste of space. So like I had been told from coaches, you're supposed to trust and listen to, these really awful things that I could have just taken any of them and been like, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. And just walk away. But instead, this one person breathing like kind of new life into me changed everything. And so I just chose to really believe what he was telling me, since he seemed to think there was a path to get there. And I was just all in at that point. Like it never left, but at that moment, I remember being all in. Like he says it's possible. He's showing me how to do it. Like we're going to do it,
That's amazing. It just it just goes to show. I mean, thinking back to anyone who's spoken into our lives, right? It only takes one conversation, and now as adults thinking about that, right? Like speaking into our kids, speaking into our nieces and nephews, speaking into maybe just someone who's maybe just a handful of years younger than us, or even someone who's older than us, but just seeing them fully, right? And saying, hey, yeah, sounds great. That's your goal. Great.
Well, and it also with our social media world and culture that we live in, you can get 100 different people telling you how great you are and how beautiful you are and how wonderful you are. But you get that one person who tells you something negative, that one troll that's on there.
Right.
And that's the thing you hang on to. You know what I mean? And that's a really tough place. And we all do that. And so working on like letting that go and actively choosing to believe these people who are telling you positive things instead. It sounds really easy, but that's not an easy thing to do. It's a hard thing to do.
Right. Well, one more thing I'll say on that, and I'll kick it to you, Mike, is like one of our Better the Rich principles that we teach at our retreats is that nothing is impossible, right? Like anything is possible, but we have a ... after it, and we say with the appropriate strategy, and it's like, it sounds like this coach saw you really, truly, respected your dreams and then said, okay, like here's a plan, so I just think that's really, really beautiful.